What you doing, Diggletdreamers? You got Mathers back for another Moveset Monday. Today, as you can see on the screen, talking about Scrafty. Before I get into today's video, I just want to make sure that if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure you do, because I'm going to be doing this new moveset every Monday. If you want to leave a comment and suggest something, you can do that, and then you can subscribe so you can know when the video comes out. And I just wanted to point out something that I found out recently, that over half of the people watching my videos are not subscribed. So what's up with that? If you're watching the videos, you're enjoying the videos, then hit that subscribe so you can see when the new stuff comes out. Yeah, all right. So Scrafty is actually super interesting Pokemon. First of all, I just wanted to start off with a Dragon Dance set. I think this is probably one of the more fun sets, being able to set up, attack and speed boosts and go for the sweep. I gave this thing Moxie because I think Moxie is a super powerful ability, especially with speed boosting and being able to knock things out. So close combat, obviously, probably one of the most reliable stab fighting moves this thing gets. It got high jump kick prior to Sword and Shield, which probably was its strongest move, but that move has a huge drawback, but has that small percent chance to miss. Is it 90 or 95? 90. And 10% of the time you're gonna hurt yourself 50%. So it's not the best. It's definitely a little bit stronger, but not quite as reliable, not as spammable. And close combat might just be a little bit lower, but it doesn't come with that huge risk that high jump kick does. So I think it is just a little bit better, like 10% of the time high jump kick is gonna fail you, and that's a little bit too much for me, if you ask me. Knockoff, obviously one of the best moves in the game, not removing the item, but great dark type move for this thing. Also just a great move in general. Maybe you don't get the chance to Dragon Dance in this game, so you just want to, maybe you could just only have a chance to knock something off, and that's pretty good value, being able to get rid of something's item. And then there's Poison Jab here for the fairy types, because obviously this thing does not like fairy types. Being a dark and fighting type means it's double weak to fairy, and its stab moves are not going to be very effective against fairy types, so you need to have something for that coverage, because most teams that you run into these days are going to have at least one fairy type, so you want to be able to hit those things. I gave it leftovers. I think Scrafty just loves having leftovers in general. You could forego this for something like a life orb, or maybe even like an expert belt, but with a life orb you're not going to enjoy that recoil. You might enjoy the power boost, but you're not going to like that recoil. An expert belt will definitely help you versus like fairies with poison jab, and anything else that's weak to these moves, but I don't think some of the time you're not going to get any benefit from an expert belt, which is what annoys me about that item. And leftovers is just one of those things that will always benefit you, and especially if you're trying to set up Dragon Dances, having that little passive recovery is going to be super helpful. So with the Eevees, max speed, max attack, pretty standard. You want as much attack as possible, because 90 base attack is not going to be serving you that well. So you want to just try to boost that up about as much as you can, and then rely on the Dragon Dance boosts to help you out. But what is great about Scrafty is its base defenses. 115 in defense and special defense is pretty great, so you don't really need to invest much in them at all, and they're already like look at the my defense with zero investment is almost as good as my attack with full investment. So it's pretty cool. You are going to find those chances to be able to set up against certain things because of your natural bulk, which is really cool. And the really unfortunate thing about Scrafty that does kind of hold it back a little bit is its low base speed at 58. So you're gonna want to basically max that out. But the cool thing though is when you are maxed out 252 EVs, Jolly Nature, with 58 base speed, you're not going to be outspeeding much without a boost. But when you do have a boost, anything with even with a Jolly or Timid Nature at 110 base speed is going to be outsped by you, which is really cool. I think the number you hit is 355 when you're at +1 with speed. And so something I think it's like, I looked at like Lycanroc Dusk, which has a 110 base speed. I think that thing with a Jolly Nature max speed hits 354. So you will be outspeeding anything at 110 or lower, which is pretty cool, but also not cool because there's plenty of things in the tier that are, or in general in tier. I don't know what tier you want to be using this in, but especially a tier like OU with things like Alakazam, Zeraora, Dragapult, Hawlucha, those kind of things can be really scary for this Pokemon. Well, a few of them can be. Like Hawlucha is definitely a big threat for Scrafty. Dragapult, you might be able to tank like a Shadow Ball and knock off that thing. But if you're like Will-O-Wisps or something, that's bad. I mean, if you get +2, if you get 2 Dragon Dances, then you're in a much better spot, but that's not going to be as easy. Yeah, so that's the idea. Other sets, this one this one's a little weird. It's kind of like a what's the term, like a sweeper checker, if that makes sense. So Intimidate ability, Fake Out for that priority to just like pick off anything that might be a little bit weak, and then Drain Punch just as recovery, Knock Off. This is basically your go-to dual stabs. Drain Punch are close combat, and then Knock Off is the dark type move, and then Dragon Tail is just a phasing move to like anything that maybe it can't knock you out and you want to get rid of all its stat boosts, and then you Dragon Tail it out of there. Chople Berry, this can definitely be subbed out. I think Leftovers could be good here, but I wanted to have a little bit of variety in terms of the items. So Chople Berry obviously halves the damage from a super effective fighting type move. So that can help you out versus like opposing fighting types that are like maybe going for like a Swords Dance or something. But you can obviously switch this out for other types of berries, maybe like a Flying type 1 or something. It could be good against Hawluchas, because an Intimidate on a Hawlucha can be really good, because that thing really does need boosts to be a threat. So Dragon Tailing it out can be really good. Yeah, you could also go Leftovers on this too. It wouldn't be that bad. But the Eevee's a little bit more varied on this one. So with this 60 points based into speed, that is going to give you a speed that lets you outspeed Pokemon that are base 65 speed. So that can be important things, like you'll be outspeeding in OU, you'll outspeed things like Tangrowth, Chansey, Hippowdon, things that aren't going to have speed investment, but would outspeed you if you didn't have speed investment. Or no, I guess those things wouldn't, but the important ones I'm thinking of are things like Umbreon and Vaporeon that hit like 65 speed, and I think with no speed investment they hit 166 speed. So with this, you'll be outspeeding those. You can Drain Punch them, knock them off, Dragon Tail them out. And that speed tier is going to be important later on. So for this one, I put Adamant max attack, as well as just dumping the rest in HP, just for just to add to the natural bulk. As I said before, the defense and special defense are already pretty solid, so just dumping the rest into HP can make you kind of more of a general tank, if you will. So this next one, is one that I've been using a little bit in the RU tier lately. I found a team online and it looked pretty cool, so I tried it out. But Shedskin, super cool ability. Not a lot of Pokemon get this. The only thing other than Scrafty that I can think of that can use this really right now is like Sandaconda. But it's really cool. Bulk Up is another great setup move for this thing other than Dragon Dance. And I Leftovers is just too good on this one to not use, so I put that on there. Bulk Up gives you obviously the attack and defense. So instead of going for speed, go for defense on this one. Drain Punch and Knock Off being your main stab moves. Drain Punch is great because if you don't have to go for a rest and you can get your recovery back, then that's really nice. And then of course Rest is the last move. Puts you to sleep for 2 turns, but you also have that 33% chance to have it cured at the end of the turn, which can be really nice. And the Eevees are pretty similar on this one, especially in the RU tier. You want to be outspeeding things like Umbreon and Vaporeon. Is Umbreon RU? Umbreon might be UU. But yeah, that's the idea. You can outspeed the slower, bulkier things, Drain Punch them, knock them off, get bulk ups off, and then rest and recover. And I think it can work really well. The combination of these two attacking types can be really good versus a lot of teams. Obviously, you gotta watch out for those fairy types, but just make sure you have something on your team, like a poison type or a steel type, that's able to deal with those fairies and kind of pave the way for Scrafty. And then, if you've seen my Masquerade one, you know that I saved the last one to be the most heat one of all, and I'm doing it again. This is crazy. Taunt, Lash Out, Drain Punch, Toxic with leftovers, with a lot of special defense investment HP. So that 60 speed points is a through line through all of these sets. It's a really good speed tier. 167 points in speed is a really good thing to hit. Well, I mean, if you're listening to this and not seeing this, don't put 167 EVs. 167 is the number that you want to hit, so you want to put 60 EVs. This lets you outspeed a lot of bulky Pokemon that you can taunt and Toxic and Drain Punch. And I have to try something with Lash Out, because I haven't found a way to really use this thing yet, but I think it could be cool to Lash Out on the turn that you think an Intimidate Pokemon might come in or something like that. I don't know, it sounds fun. Maybe I'll try it out. Yeah, Lash Out is a tough one. I feel like it's better in doubles than it is in singles, but we'll see. Intimidate, I mean, of these abilities, which are all really, really good abilities, Intimidate's probably one of the more reliable ones, even though, Intimidate did get nerfed with a couple of the other abilities getting immunity to it. But it's still super good, makes you a much better switch into certain things. So basically the idea here, I put max HP, 20 into attack, and 176 into special defense. So you only want 60 speed, so you have a lot of leeway to just do things. I wanted a ton of HP to be able to tank hits, and then a little bit of special defense, a little bit of attack with an adamant nature to make Drain Punch and Lash Out hit a lot harder. So basically all I wanted here was a little bit of speed, a little bit of attack, so that I can taunt, Toxic, Drain Punch, the slower things, and then a little bit of attack so that I can hit harder with Lash Out and Drain Punch. And then the rest I just dumped into special defense and HP. So you could probably even make this an odd number and put a little bit more into special defense, or you know what, I could even put a little into defense. Why not use every stat on the board? So with this, I mean, this is a pretty weird set. This is pretty weird. I don't know if I recommend using this on a regular, but I think the moveset is definitely something that I want to try out a little bit more than the actual Eevee spread. So yeah, that's what I got for Scrafty. Maybe I'll use a team with Scrafty sometime soon, if not tomorrow. But yeah, so you should subscribe and maybe hit the notification bell. I don't even know if I have a notification bell. Do you have to have like a certain amount of subscribers or something for that? I don't know. Subscribe, it'll make it easier to find my videos, and it'll show that you care. And if you want to leave a like or a comment, you can definitely do that. I actually forgot to do this earlier in the video, but this Scrafty was requested by this guy, Savio Almeida. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, I apologize. Commented on my last week Moveset Monday, so shoutouts to him for suggesting Scrafty, which is a super cool Pokemon and has a lot of various options when it comes to movesets, so it's a really cool one to kind of play around with. So yeah, if you want to suggest a set for next week, leave a comment down below. I already have a few that I have in the works. Polyrath is probably going to be next week, so if you want to see that one, make sure to subscribe and so you can keep updated with the videos as they come out. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Keep dreaming. Goodbye.